And I like this part right now. He told me to tell you that I'll be by your side. You don't have to be afraid. You might as well get ready. Put on your walking shoes. You are released. Go ahead.
What's up, everybody? I hope you're having a good day today. And I also hope you checked out my first vlog. If you haven't, go ahead and check it out now. There'll be so many more details. But I thought I'd take a little time to be transparent today. So I was talking to God, and he revealed to me something that I've been struggling with for a while, and that's forgiveness. You know, I've been hurt by a lot of people in my life, and some very recent and some long time ago, and you know, I really thought I was forgiving, but then I realized, why am I still hurting, and why am I not doing a good job healing with it, and why are the things that they've done to me kind of reflecting in my personality that's building? So I asked God, I was just like, God, how do I forgive people but still work on the pain that I've brought up from this? So, you know, I took some notes on it because he talks pretty fast. And so I just want to share some with you because, you know, I know a lot of people struggle with forgiveness, and let's be honest, it's not fun or easy. And, you know, I want us to all go through it together. You know, we're all figure this out together. So here's some things that I figured out. One, there's a myth of forgiveness. You know, we always say, if I forgive this person, well, I'm letting them have power. I'm letting them win. I'm not being able to show my emotions. So like if I'm angry or sad about it, like I need you to know that I'm angry or sad. And if I say I forgive you, you're not gonna know how angry and sad I am. Now come on, we're all like that, because I'm like that, okay? So we struggle with that. We want people to feel how we feel. We want them to get it. And I feel like we always think when we say I forgive you, that cuts that off. In all actuality, this is the theme for this whole thing. Forgiveness is for you. It doesn't have anything to do with the other person at all. Whether you forgive them or not, they're still gonna keep living. So what you need to do is take that emotion and take that and free yourself. And it's hard. It's really hard because, like I said, you want people to feel how you feel. You want them to understand how you're feeling, and you want to be heard. You want to be valued. And you feel like if I just say I forgive you, then they're just kind of like, okay, cool, I'm off the hook. But truth be told is there's a way to forgive. So, you know, the final myth is we always think there's two options. Either I forgive them and the hurt's just gone, or I don't forgive and then I'm stuck in this poisonous hate forever. And the truth is, there's another option. It's called acceptance. And I was like, God, what in the world is acceptance? Because does that mean I say it's okay for you to hurt me and I accept that you hurt me? No, doesn't mean that it made it okay. But what I do accept is this situation is how it is. So acceptance allows you to clear up your mind. It allows you to step back from the situation and see it objectively versus being inside of it and with your emotions, with your hurt, with the other person. It allows you to step outside of that and be honest about what it is that's going on. This also helps you to see the other person for what they are. So if they're really struggling with this thing, for example, I have a lot of people in life that mostly hurt me because of other people that have hurt them. And I'll get so mad. I'll be like, why do they always push me out like all the time? And I'm like trying to be so loving, and then I'm like, wait, a lot of people around them push them out, and that's all they know. It doesn't make it right for them to push me out. It doesn't make it right for them to treat me poorly, but it does make it easier to forgive. And that's something I really learned. And the next step even with that is praying for them and being like, wow, they're really going through something very hard. I need to pray for them with that. You know, it also helps with acceptance to be honest about your own contributions. So something I struggle with a lot was self-blame. It's like when they didn't take up the responsibility for something, or they didn't apologize, I would be like, oh, well, I must have did this, I must have did that, like I had to, and I take all the blame because I need somebody to take it. Well, truth is, when you forgive them, there is no blame for it. And along with accepting the situation, it allows you time to heal. You know, when you're still dealing with the hurt of somebody else and not forgiving them for that, now you're dealing with their pain and your pain. But when you forgive them and cut off what they've done to you and just pray for them, then you can allow yourself time to heal and allow yourself time to say, you know what, that situation hurt me, that angered me, that made me sad. So now I will work on it, and I will understand, I will prepare myself for the future if this situation were to arise. So, you know, for me, I always go to scriptures with everything. And a scripture that got put on my heart was Luke 17, 3-5. I knew it kind of had something to do with forgiveness, but I didn't realize the depthness of it. So the first verse says, "So watch yourselves. If your brother or sister sins against you, rebuke them." So that's the first step that we oftentimes miss. That rebuke them. So if they do something, say something. That doesn't mean go off on them. That doesn't mean say you're a liar, you're a cheater, you're a backstabber. Like, not name calling, but say, hey, I want to talk about this thing that you did. It really offended me because A, B, and C. And this is how I feel. And I wanted to talk to you about it as my brother and sister. Because at the end of the day, you're entitled to your feelings, you're entitled to your hurt. But the word says the first step is confrontation. And if they repent, forgive them. Even if they sin against you 7 times in a day, and 7 times, now that's a lot. I was like, God, I have some people in my life that's done stuff like 7 times in a day, and that's a lot. That is hard. That's hard to say, I forgive you. I forgive you again. Because you're hurt and you feel like your hurt's not being heard. And I know I'm speaking to a lot of people because this is how I feel a lot. But we have to understand that judgment is not our tool and it's not our place. If you also think about Matthew 8:21-35, it's a story about Jesus forgiving someone's debts and washing them away. And then this servant goes down the street and shakes up money for somebody that owes him money. And Jesus said, now didn't I just forgive you for what you just did, but you won't forgive this person for their debts? So then he had to go to jail. And what we fail to realize is we'll always imprison ourselves spiritually and emotionally and mentally if we do not forgive others. That's what Jesus wants us to do. We have trespassed him so many times, yet he still gives us so much freedom when we beg and plead at his feet. So when other people are trespassing against us, why can't we forgive them? In Ephesians 4:31-32, as well as Mark 11:25, talk about the same things as we have to forgive others as our Father forgave us, and if we don't, he won't. Like, we have to understand the importance of forgiving others and not being bitter, not being angry. And, you know, forgiveness doesn't include, okay, I forgive you, but every time I see you, I'm going to roll my eyes, or I'm going to smack my lips, or when I get around other people, I'm going to talk about you poorly. That's not forgiveness. You still have something against them. Something. Even if you said you've let the situation go. So if there's somebody that you're thinking about right now, that every time you get around them, you get a little tangy feeling inside, or you get a little feeling, you haven't forgiven. And that means God is struggling to forgive you. Some takeaways I got from Luke 17:3-5. I got 4 ideas about what forgiveness really means. So forgiveness really means I will not talk about this anymore. I will not use this against you. I will not talk to others about it. And I will not let this hinder our relationship. Now that really, really, really spoke to me, because we think about like, okay, I'm not going to bring it up to this person anymore. But then I'm going to go to talk to everybody else about like how much this situation, well, you still haven't forgiven. Even though you don't bring it to the person that perpetuated it, you're still bringing it up into the atmosphere, into the spiritual realm. That means God, actually, I didn't forgive it. It's still here. I'm still letting it dance around me. And also letting it hinder your relationship. Like, there's so many times when people, you know, in friendships or in relationships or even with family members, how they won't talk for years because of something that they did so long ago. And it's like, oh, I forgave them, but they're avoiding them. Or once again, they're not confronting them. They just have this problem with so-and-so because they never confronted it. They never allowed for repentance. They didn't allow space for repentance. And most of all, they never forgave. So if there's someone in your life that you don't come around them anymore, or you distance yourself because of something that they did to you, or if you're talking to others about something they did to you, you still haven't forgiven. And it's hard. And I was like, God, why do we have to do this? Like, why do we have to forgive people that hurt us? Like, what about our hurt? And God will deal with our hurt. You know, God loves us so much, and He will heal us. He is such a healer. He's the Redeemer, not a person, not flesh. They're just flesh and blood, not God. And we have to understand that. We cannot give them the power to make us happy or sad, to make us move on or not. Whether they get our anger or our sadness or not, it really doesn't matter. All we can do is pray for their heart and their spirit. We cannot force it through flesh. So I ended with Hebrews 12-15 that talks about you have to make peace with everyone. And if you don't make peace with them, then no one will see the Lord, and we cannot harvest bitterness, because we will get nowhere. So I just really say all this to say, you know, if you're thinking about somebody in your life, or a few people in your life that you still feel an itchy thing in your heart for, or when you get around them you get really irritated, or you get really annoyed, or you get really bitter, or anything, or if there's somebody you're just avoiding because they hurt you, you really need to tap in with God and tap in with yourself and say, do I really forgive them? No, and I need to. And I just encourage you, if there is someone that ranks in that, to call them up today, or even write them a letter, or maybe if don't even communicate to them yet, just pray to God and ask God, how do I forgive this person? And how do I work on that healing and separate that so I do not hold this against them anymore, so I could be closer to you, God? Because when we let things go with other people, we can be closer to Him. So I hope this really inspires you today. It really inspired me, and I'm still working on forgiving. And today I will work on the people in my life that have hurt me and how to heal but still love and still forgive. So until next time, be blessed.